executive session to discuss personnel issue concerning the level up and the effect on other personnel within the district. So that's what that was about. No school business was discussed other than that. So we had some questions that were asked that we had to cut short, so we're going to bring those back around. You guys asked them. You guys get to say them.
So just to clarify that this is not going to be, we don't have to raise any funds or raise taxes for this position. It's coming out of Dr. Fiaschi's.
Correct. It's coming out of the budget that we have. There will be some concessions that we'll have to make in other areas, but we will be able to take care of this without increasing taxes. That's right.
To accommodate.
Correct.
Thank you.
Dwayne, you had asked a question.
Yes.
About some things too.
Yes.
So.
First off, Dr. Mitzel, how many students is this affecting in the time period?
I think Dr. Fiaschi stated that it's 21 students that would be seen. Correct.
Okay, so if there's 2 of them, that means we have 42 that we're presently.
There's 40 students currently receiving services.
Okay.
So 21 of them.
Is there any other questions I missed that were asked? Okay, Nick is back in the role for it.
You have a motion in a second and
Okay.
discussion and a vote.
All right.
It's
Back to me.
back to you.
This commercial is brought to you by Kellogg's. No, actually, it's brought to you by Snickers bars.
Yeah.
Really, that was we didn't need a break. Somebody just needed a Snickers bar break. Okay. All right. We've had discussion. We've had first and seconds. All those in favor of Elevated Minds substitute staffing contracts, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
That's the end of the personnel report under curriculum, co-curriculum, and policy. We have item A for discussion, the first reading of the list of policies. If there's any discussion, I'm going to pull, we'll do B and C separately.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, thank you.
In the form of a motion, recommend approval of the following board policies and procedures: 803, school calendar; 805, emergency preparedness and response; 805.1, relations with law enforcement agencies; and 805.2, school security personnel.
I have a motion on the floor for letter B. Do I have a second?
Second, Danielle Brenneman.
Discussion on those 4 policies. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
In the form of a motion, recommend approval of the 2025-2026 academic calendar.
I have a motion on the floor to approve the calendar for 2025-2026. Do I have a second?
Steve, you're the second.
Discussion. Oh, you get to say. Discussion over this.
I have some discussion
Okay.
here, Carl, if you don't mind. I've been doing a lot of reading into some of the responses from the parents in the district, and it's just a small portion. I'm not going to pin it down to a whole lot of people, but a lot of them have discussed issues with the fact they're on vacation still when the school starts. A lot of them have discussed that they really don't mind it extending it a week into June, and that's just what I was reading for the most part from parents. They want to know why in the middle of the year they're losing some days, and for obvious reasons, the teachers have had time to prepare. That's really basically all I wanted to say on that subject.
Is there a question?
Yeah, that's your question.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is the 2 days enough? Is everybody okay with preparing their classroom and getting ready for the school year with just 2 days?
Yes, yes. 2 days is enough. It would be great to have 3, but 2 days is plenty. What we also have, part of our CBA allows teachers to come in over the summer, prepare the room, do different things that are provided, and then have a flex day during the school year. So, yes, I'm confident with that.
And looking down through, we still have in September there's a day, October there's a day, of course November, December you got Thanksgiving and Christmas, January of 2 days, February, March each a day, April 3 days, May 3 days. too was, a lot of, you know, other people in other districts are like, why do you guys seem to have off all the time? You know, I don't know that I, you know, have that same thought,
Right.
but, we are still getting at least one day off for
Correct.
teachers.
And our
holidays.
students have days
Well,
off
did you
throughout the
just say
year.
teachers are supposed to work on their holidays?
No, I said or holidays.
Because that's what it sounded like to me.
No, I actually
Okay.
wanted to say that I think teachers, you are one, I don't have my own classroom right now, but go above and beyond. You work hours out of school in the evenings, you miss family things, on the weekends you're planning over the summertime, you know, you're always working, and so, I just wanted to say that, but no, I am not saying that any teacher needs to do any work on any holiday.
But they are.
I don't think they should.
Mrs. Ressler, I would also say, regarding the days off, we have a number of Act 80 days that are set and planned out at certain periods of time. One of the benefits of doing that is we get to have training on specific days at the beginning of the year, then we get to follow up 10 to 12 weeks later, then we get to follow up again 10 to 12 weeks later, and we have a process that is train, check, train, check, train, check. And it does promote the best opportunity for our teachers to retain and use that information and collaborate with one another throughout the time that they're not meeting.
I have two questions. One, in creating the calendar, do we talk to other school districts to coordinate, since ACT and other transportations, are they involved in the calendar?
Correct, we do. I speak with the superintendents of the other districts as they create their calendar and as I create my calendar.
And I'm assuming that you don't just make this calendar without talking to the union either.
You would be correct.
So the union gets to put their input in?
Yes.
Okay. So is there anybody that does it other than the dog catcher that doesn't get to put their input?
Many folks and many people put in their input, and oftentimes it's 50-50 one way or the other. I tend to go with superintendents in the county and try to have a countywide approach.
All right. Now, this calendar, it is in stone, it's engraved, it cannot be changed once it's done.
That is so untrue. I can come back to this board at any time and change this, and make recommendations to change the calendar.
Except people are gonna do their vacations based on this calendar, and then you're gonna wanna change it.
I don't think
No,
we're changing.
that wasn't the question.
The question was, the parameters from the first day to the last day is flexible as Jell-O. You know, there's a little bit of push, a little bit of pull, you know, it can go different ways. And I think that's the point that we're trying to make, that this calendar, you have to have someplace to start. You try to get someplace to start with, and that you can keep, but sometimes you've got to move it just a hair to the right or to the left, depending on what's going on with buildings being built and snow days, et cetera, and so on and so forth. And that's what we're trying to get at. Just remind the school board that we had the previous calendar that we're in, we, no less than twice we changed it. So
At
we
least
voted on,
twice.
so we voted on it 3 different
That's
times.
correct.
So, yeah, it's, these calendars are as clear as mud, you know, but you gotta at least start. And we've always started on, we've almost always started on a Wednesday. Now, the Wednesday changes because of the actual date, whether it's the 20th, 22nd, or whatever, based on the days of the year, but it's always that third week.
And regardless of whatever calendar you create, someone is always not going to be happy.
Yeah.
True, but I'll tell you what I like. I think you help keep the absences lower when you have not vacations, but a day off
Mhm.
every couple of weeks. Everybody needs to recharge, and I've seen schools that have nothing from the time they start, because they start a week and a half later than we do, and they go the whole way through to Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, and then the whole way through spring, you know, into spring break, and they have no days off. And I think those calendars, those sorts of calendars contribute to absenteeism. Everybody needs a break, and everybody needs to be away from the school at times, so I appreciate that about the calendar. And I always have, because we've always had a calendar like that. I think it's been very generous throughout, especially the front of the year, because you have those long stretches. I would like to see teachers get another day. I really would at the end of the school year. I think it's necessary. I've been teaching for 20 years. The first couple of weeks are a rush. So yeah, I think a third day would be, you know, fantastic. The other thing, I don't mind going in the first week of June either. I don't know why it's supposed to end in May. I don't know why. You know,
I think this year with the way Memorial Day and all falls, that it's just that,
Yeah.
it's that perfect storm to end, you're either gonna end early or go real late. And I think it's,
I don't think we're gonna go real.
Well,
I forgot the word.
Not like Carroll County.
Not like,
yeah, well, I don't know about you, as a kid, I went till June 16th, that's when we always
Yeah,
went.
Yep.
right.
So,
Me too.
Right.
yeah.
And we will not go that late, I don't think, ever, but, and that's great. But I mean, like June, you know, whatever the calendar, I can't remember what those are, but second, third, or fourth, I think it's still, and I think it did, you know, traditionally we used to end on what, the second or third day of June. Not that you have to stick with tradition all the time, but anyway, just my 2 cents.
Okay. Is there any more questions on?
Well, you are ending the students on a Thursday, and you could earn a blue, end it on a Friday and give the teachers an extra day at the beginning of the year.
There was something else on Friday, there was something else.
What's wrong with Friday?
Nothing's wrong with Friday. What we found this year, when we made the second and final adjustment to our current calendar, is that the borough celebrates Memorial Day on the 30th. This year, when we found that, we came to the board and recommended and asked that we move graduation for the last day for students to Thursday, so that Friday would not interfere with the Memorial Day parade. In doing so, I received very favorable feedback from the teachers that thanked me for keeping that last day on Friday as a half day of in-service so that they could wrap up the school year and complete tasks and requirements that they would otherwise be rushing around trying to do and coming in on their own time afterwards to be able to do. So what that does then is I was encouraged to do that again this school year. So the target is that Thursday for graduation and Friday to be able to wrap up the school year and provide that for our staff.
I think we've never had that issue before because we always went in at the beginning of June.
Well, we've always ended, from my conversations when this was brought up, it was always the last student day was the last teacher day. And there was never an opportunity to have that in-service day for teachers that close out the year. This year's change made that possible, and I carried it over to the calendar that I recommended to the board.
Are you finding that overall the teachers are appreciating that about this year's calendar, that they're glad for that? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And just to clarify, sorry, one more thing. We are getting, like, there is a traditional snow day? No.
That was the understanding, that we will have at least one traditional
Okay.
snow day. I have yet to speak with Mr. Lawrence and the association about what we will do and how we will make that meaningful, but yes, one.
Okay. I'll take it.
Any more questions on this side? Any questions on this side? Hearing none. All those in favor of the recommended calendar for 2025, 2026, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Motion carries. All right, Brian, you're up with ACTI.
Oh, ACTI, okay. We hired a new admin director, Dr. Sharon Perry. I think we are very fortunate to have her come aboard. She has accomplished amazing things up around the Penn State area. We're starting the ACTI program, expanding it, raising funds. She really is she really was a perfect candidate, and as I said, we are quite fortunate. I think there's going to be some changes coming up to ACTI. We have new superintendents across the county, so hopefully we can get those superintendents together and maybe do some work on and the authority, and moving us forward, in the next year. We have an opportunity, I think, and we have the right director to really expand programs. She has the experience. She has the connections. I think we're at a place now where we're ready to, really move on this. And so, and the authority could get moving. That would be fantastic. And yeah, I would love to see this happen, in the next year. See some really big developments in the next year, because we are set up to really build ACTI.
Give me something
really,
to call, raise a call meeting.
and
I'll
benefit
call
our,
meetings.
benefit our students in Adams County.
Who actually does the interview process for that?
We did. The board, the ACTI board, which is made up of the members of the JOC, the Joint Operating Committee, the 5 schools, and along with the superintendent, and we had a member of ACTI's human resources there too. She wanted to, one of those individuals as well. We didn't have many. There are not many people in the state who are qualified to run a tech school. So when I say we are quite fortunate to get Dr. Perry, we are. She is top of the heap.
So she knows how to get the money and all that?
She knows it all. And if you want to, and if well, as soon as she gets settled and I talk to her and if she has some time, we're going to invite her in and talk to the board and give you all a little bit about her resume, and you will be as impressed as I think everybody is every time they hear
When
it.
does she start?
First, she will be, that's what I forgot, thank you. First, she'll be hired as the deputy administrator, or deputy admin director. So she can come in and work with Mr. Eckenrode on turning everything over. And then she'll become the full director at the end of the school year. And so.
But she's up at Conawaga.
She is.
So she's got to get released from Conawaga. So.
Yeah.
She spent several years as
Yes.
as the director for a CTE at State College in that area. So she knows that job, that business, that work extremely well. We're very fortunate to have
She
her.
did phenomenal work over their CDE program,
Yeah.
their equivalent is just magnificent. She's got her work cut out for her. It's quite a different area than it is at State College. But, as I said, right now, everybody seems to be in agreement, tech education is important. And I think more and more people are realizing that. And I think that's why we need to move now while it's in front of everybody's mind.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, yeah, thanks to Dee.
Hopefully,
Hey, look,
hopefully it'll happen soon.
I did my part to get some money, or try to get some.
Yeah,
I got
well,
some
that's the other thing, we have a grant that's going to run out and not too distant future. That's, if I remember correctly, that's $500,000
Yeah.
that's going to expire, and that's why we
Gotta get
you
the
know,
money.
yeah.
Okay, Nick,
I have nothing to report from PSBA this morning.
and LIU, you all got the nice letter, which, nothing really to report from me on that, so it's up to you.
Well, thank you for ceding your time to me for this, because I do have many things to go over. First, I would like to say to Brian and everyone, at a recent superintendent's meeting that we held here, we actually had Representative Dan Mao join us. Representative Mao spoke to us about his desire for CTE and career education, and he is a strong proponent and advocate for it. During that time, we had several optimistic, positive comments and things put together, and we do believe that by April we should have some information and some things ready to move on for ACTI so that we can begin as soon as possible to get students, to increase the number of students receiving career education training. So very excited about that. I will have details to come. Representative Mao was very concerned about what we could do, and he was he looked favorable upon this process. I would also like to say, in addition to the $500 donation for a scholarship that Stock and Leader provided and you approved this evening, in lieu of a holiday gift that's usually presented to districts, Stock and Leader also made a donation to both the York and Central PA food banks in recognition of our partnership. So I would like to thank Stock and Leader for that. Additionally, I'd like to say a huge thank you to our staff, maintenance and custodial, along with our high school teachers. One of the things that was mentioned earlier is that our maintenance staff did a great job clearing out our driveways, our parking lots, and sidewalks. Maintenance and custodial staff have been working nonstop this weekend with the move into the new wing. So on top of that, they were here from 7 o'clock until about 1 a.m. last night to clear everything after the snow stopped falling. So they came in and did an outstanding job so that our high school teachers could come in and continue the work and pick up right where they left off on Friday and Saturday. And many of our teachers came in Friday and Saturday, donating their time, volunteering their time, without a requirement to come in to prepare for our first full day in the new wing on Wednesday, January 22nd. You'll see when you go through, a lot of the furniture is already in the classrooms. I believe all of it has been delivered, it's been assembled. Teachers are now working on putting their resources where they need them, setting up their rooms for the optimal educational and instructional setting. And I would just like to say that our commitment of our staff to prepare this for our students is second to none. I really, truly appreciate all who did anything, and I know Dr. Berryman went up as well to help out with the moves that were going on in the high school. As you also know, today marks the 111th day of my superintendency here. So first, thank you for trusting in me to do this. And as I shared, I would be, since October 1st, I would be working with administration, teachers, and the community to really establish goals and start developing action plans. Those goals and action plans will revolve around increasing literacy skills, increasing mathematical thinking skills, and improving student attendance. These are the three areas that we really identified in our comprehensive planning process with the committee that we met before I became superintendent. Also, to enhance our student-centered culture with processes that are really focused around clear and consistent communication. So when we say something, this is what we mean. I want to make sure that everyone has a common understanding of what it is that we're speaking about, so nothing can be left to chance. Supporting and recruiting, supporting the recruitment, retention, and development of quality staff. And you'll hear some of these things as I share a little bit more. Bringing together and connecting people and processes to build community pride within the Littlestown area and continue that process. Increase programming and opportunities. One example would be the Wilson or the Littlestown Area School District Master's Program that we've initiated here in the district. No out-of-pocket costs for teachers when they begin this process and they start this. They begin with us in a cohort and they go through and they complete with a Master's of Education from Wilson. It's taught entirely by our staff, our teacher leaders and administrators from beginning to thesis. It's a fantastic opportunity and it should serve any new teacher that's graduating college right now that this is the place to be. Littlestown is moving forward to help and support teachers. And lastly, the action plans will help work on and focus on keeping students and staff safe while enhancing citizenship for them. Just as I shared the example of the master's program, another example of connecting and bringing people together is working with the foundation to bring the community together around the Dolly Parton Library, Imagination Library program, as well as grant opportunities such as what you've seen tonight, money going from us to the foundation to support students in education. And now this begins this last part. January in Pennsylvania, January is designated as School Director Appreciation Month. During this month, we publicly recognize the responsibility and the critical role of our leaders in the efforts to sustain a collaborative environment which nurtures growth and success. As unpaid school directors, you shoulder the significant responsibility as each of you strive to prioritize and balance student and staff goals with financial stewardship of the district. You demonstrate your stewardship of the district resources as you provide governance for student success, spending countless hours reviewing policy, analyzing available resources, and working with administration to help our Thunderbolts meet life and career success. This delicate balance requires collaboration, understanding, and a commitment to a long-term vision for our district, which invests in collaborative experiences which inspire and nurture personal growth while building a solid foundation to prepare our students for life and career success. We deeply appreciate your efforts, your tireless efforts, and the positive impact you have on our students and on our community. Most sincerely and genuinely, I say thank you to each one of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
The master's program, do they have to agree to stay with us for a certain time?
Correct. It's all part of the CBA, so if they would leave us, they would owe us for that cost of the courses that they were held within.
If they ever leave us.
Nope, if they
What's the
leave within
time?
2 years, it's the time frame. The CBA. Yep. Last thing that I have, almost, Carl, almost. Board training has been rescheduled to February 25th and 26th. The purpose of this training, so I'm going to cross out right now, February 25th. It will be limited to February 26th for the board. One evening. The purpose of this training is to focus on working together as a board for the benefit of our students and community. And just as I said, unpaid school directors, the weight and responsibility of prioritizing and balancing students and staff goals is paramount.
Is that 4 to 9?
That is 4 to 9. That's well, I think I said 5 to 9, but it is 4 to 9. Thank you for that clarification.
With dinner.
I'll have dinner. I'll have dinner. Even if Mrs. Mitchell has to make it. Even if I have to make it.
Whoa,
Wow.
wait. That makes me fine.
You have to give them weight.
Well, that's what I would do. I would.
Well, if I put this in my thing. You said 4, right?
Correct. February 26th.
All right. Okay. All right.
Any questions?
Yeah, any questions?
Hey, I just got a notification that the game starts.
Okay, I'm working on it, I'm working on it. Hold on.
I just, I'm just kidding.
I was told that ahead of time. Okay, FMX report is in your packet. Do you have any questions to that? Hearing none. New business. It was asked that Janelle could give up the ACTI alternate. It's something that I get to appoint, kind of like other positions. So Steve has requested that he would do it. So Steve is now the second at ACTI. You can with the holy word later.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay. Do I have any other new business?
Well, just one last thing. I brought cupcakes for the board and staff to celebrate Dr. Mitchell's birthday yesterday.
Oh, thank you.
And on top of that, an Eagles win.
Thank you.
Janelle, are we gonna sing?
Oh, God.
And then you gotta be right.
Maybe not you can sing. Steve, you can probably.
Can I have a motion to adjourn so that people can get to see games?
So moved. Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Wait, the
Motion carries, meeting's closed.